Tell me
Yeah,
about the development of your faith and who instilled that in you.
sure. So I was raised Methodist in Uvalde in Longview, Texas. And us good old Methodists, we're big into gratitude, and there's great value in the gratitude. But we're not necessarily, we're not necessarily praying for. It's more New Testament. All right, so and there's great value. We were raised through my mom's values, especially, to not even take the fact that the sun rose again this morning for granted. Like to bend a knee with that. Like I remember, we have one pair of shoes. They're getting old and ratty. And please, can I get some new shoes? And we didn't have that much money. And Mom going, you keep griping about those shoes. I'm going to introduce you to the kid with no feet. Whoa. Relativity. We were like baselined a lot. Like you be happy for another day. I remember my mom saying this always, coming to breakfast. If you were grumpy or still sleepy, get your butt back in bed and don't come back in here to have the breakfast that I'm making you until you're ready to see the rose in the vase instead of the dust on the table. Whoa, you had to go back to the room, start over and go, that's right. Geez, oh man. So gratitude was a big thing with my faith. And that was also a lot of what I remember the sermons and the teachings in our Methodist church was. I have, now I try and, I spent time in a monastery with them. There's a great story in there with Brother Christian, and he's a Benedictine monk. And I was asking, so what do y'all see? Are you saying everything is God? They go, no. We're taught that to everywhere we look, it is of God. Meaning like that chair, that cow, we're not saying that's God. We're saying that's of God. I've had times where, with great success and fame, where I've needed to strip all of my talismans of identity down to where I just understood, now, who are you as just a child of God? Just that. Not an American, not a McConaughey, not a Texan, not an Academy Award winner, not any of these things that you mortally gained along the way, but who are you when you were stripped down to nothing as a child of God? So I've had those times where I've gone off and had my sacrifices. I've had my sabbaticals. I've taken solitude. Has been, Thomas Merton, Benedictine monk. Spent a lot of time at this monastery where I go. And I've really learned the value of solitude, sometimes by my choice, sometimes because it wasn't chosen for me. I was put in a position to have a forced winter, to be stuck with myself. And I understood the value and the faith that I've had of going, yeah, you're on your own and it's really uncomfortable. Good. Don't pull the parachute. Don't pick up the phone. Don't have a drink. Don't turn on the TV. Don't give yourself anything else to be entertained by. Sit in this discomfort, in this Socratic dialogue until you work it out and you figure out, what are we going to forgive and what are we going to say, the buck stops here, no more. And let's work it out. And then around day 12 is usually when I have my purge. Around day 12, I have my purge. I'm like, okay, well,
wow,
stuck with the one person I can't get rid of. We better figure out how to get along. And that's when it's like, well, when you become friends with yourself, you become friends with God. And when you got God in your life, you got a friend, and that friend is you. And that realization is very is something I still, and it takes maintenance. It takes daily maintenance. We try to, with our children who have traveled the world with us. I need the ritual of church on Sunday to do inventory on my last week and learn something to take into the week, to propel me into the week that I can feel like I can apply in my life. And I just about a year ago, I had this moment with myself where I just giggled at how beautiful the calendar is, the calendar week. And now God made it in 7 days. On the seventh day rest, go to church. Because come about Saturday, I'm needing some Sunday church again. And I'm like, it's perfectly scheduled. Because I come out roaring on Sunday and Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then about Saturday, I'm like, I need to go do some inventory again. Go to a place where it's obvious that I'm at the highest level, number 2. And to be humbled. I also, in my faith journey, have struggled or been always sort of hands in the clay with the definition of words like humility and the value of that. I always had trouble with humility because I would lose confidence when I was humble, or I would be falsely modest. And then I heard a definition of humility being knowing that you have more to learn. And something about that definition, I was able to stand tall, keep my shoulders back, my head up, and still be humble and my heart high with that. And I've also, this is where what I really love to do in my spiritual journey is, when something's going on, either great success or great strife, we feel like we're the center of the universe. Like it's all just revolving around.
Just us.
Just us.
Nobody else has that problem.
Nobody else.
Only me.
Completely original, and it's all me. Yeah, right. But I like to pop up into that God's eye and have a look with that sort of almost that Google Earth view. And have a look at the earth turning and see this. Where am I on it? It's a little speck. Millions of people. And there have been hands of time. It's been here thousands of years before, and it'll be here thousands of years again, and the world's turning. And we're this little planet in this galaxy, in this universe. Maybe there's multiple universes. Anyway, here we are. Here I am. And then in that moment where I'm like, oh, none of it matters, is exactly when I realize, oh, here you are in the palm of God's hand, and you don't really matter. That's when I realized, and that's why it all matters. That, for me, is that definition of humility. That is clear when my faith is clear. That it's in that, the most vulnerable spot where you don't matter is where actually the ultimate power, the greatest power comes from. And I feel like, oh, that's it. Just when you realize none of it matters is right there where you realize, oh, that's because it all matters. Yes.